Stealth Chopper is a new addition, but otherwise vis-a-vis loadouts I've been using this season and currently have. HVK is still the best assault rifle to use, unlike BP-50 does not have the penetration deduction, and it is good at any range. The only downside would be the 28 rounds mag, which is especially easy to fill after using BP-50 for a longer period of time, as I run out of mag before even killing an enemy sometimes. But well, of course, after a few games I just get adjusted to it again. But another problem would be that, again, the mag size is an issue when playing with a bad team. Because if you're alone in some hotspot and you have to reload and you just get killed, it's obviously not ideal. And so for this reason I would say that HVK is good when you're playing with a good team and just want to use the best option weapon available. As otherwise you should prioritize bigger mag guns, especially when playing with randoms. Or you can still use the Rage. It has 25 bullets if you want to use the damage mag without the penalties. And it is... the difference compared to the HVK would be that the Rage does not shoot as fast, the firing rate is slower, but it deals good damage, so essentially you just put less bullets out into your enemy and you get them killed. Now with HVK being faster it is obviously an advantage, but the Rage is more versatile simply because of its firing rate difference. And you can use it with bad teams and even carry. And it has great range, especially the gunsmith I'm using. Earlier I used the marksman barrel variant, but at the moment it is too slow. And so with the Rage you can hop in any lobby and do quite well, even carry a bad team. And you don't have to worry about things like wall penetration, and the mag size it is quite sufficient. The main downside would be that there are simply faster guns like even HVK BP-50 that sometimes might make the gun underperform. But it is certainly worth keeping in loadouts, as in a particular lobby, in a fitting lobby, it will be the best option. BP-50 often labeled as the best weapon, and I absolutely love the Mythic variant, but I personally don't enjoy using the gun as much just because of how overused it is. But it is certainly great even after the little nerf to the damage range profile. And however, I do have a few things that I personally don't like about it. So one, the reduced wall bang, that the gun does not penetrate through walls. It can be an issue when your enemy is like hiding behind some lean head glitch or in a building, or they just manage to run and hide behind the corner and you just shoot at the wall and they don't die. And another problem would be that at least I personally find the weapon to be a bit slow in terms of like ADSing, tracking, shooting. Because once you do start putting bullets into your enemy, it is often a quick and pretty consistent kill. But to get to that point, you have to ADS and start shooting. And I personally find some other guns, like for instance even Grau, Fennec, PDW, to be a bit easier to ADS and shoot in this regard. So it's like, it is certainly a great gun, you have a lot of bullets, you can just spam them, you get kills, but I just don't like BP-50 itself, honestly, personally. But regardless, if you have a Mythic or even if you don't have, because even default sight is alright, you really should have it in your loadouts. PP90 Bizon, the season before the buff, I made a video saying how in the current meta setting it is good again. And now the mag, the large caliber damage mag, has been buffed, it is no longer having the range debuff. And so now, for this reason, I prefer the old gunsmith with the extended light barrel instead of the marksman one. And the gun is really good. Firing rate is not as fast as the BP50, but it has better mobility like ADS while shooting and moving, and it is a very easy gun to use, has pretty decent range, pretty fast time to kill, almost no recoil, and big mag. And the mag also has the large caliber mag, so it has some damage buff, like just the mag itself. And it used to be my main weapon when I just wanted to grind through Grandmaster lobbies to get legendary faster. And now after the buff I think that it's back alongside BP50. Like, BP of course is better, but this one is not notably far. Like, let's say BP did not exist, this would be amazing. Right now it is not as good, but it is still very viable nonetheless. And so I also have a prepared video with a few different gunsmiths, just to further explain why I prefer this one at the moment. Essentially it is a easier to use BP50 with less damage, but like better range, better penetration potential, and we think that the firing rate is slower. It also makes it a bit easier to control because you simply don't miss as many bullets if you don't manage to aim exactly where you want to. Fennec I enjoy because it has a very fast time to kill at close range. It's also pretty easy to control, especially the gunsmith which you have been seeing for many seasons, like recommended everywhere. I probably know it by heart by now, but like the only downside would be the 40 rounds mag because you run out of it very quickly. And it did not feel as much as big of a deal before the BP50 was introduced. But now also whenever I switch to the Fennec, after not using it for a longer period of time, I end up hearing the click that the mag is out, and I have to reload, and it takes a bit of time to just readjust, much like with the HVK. And ignoring that, it is a really great viable option. However, it is quite situationally good. Like in the same map in Nuketown, you could get a lobby where it performs amazingly well, or you can get a lobby where enemies are just killing you from afar and you cannot do anything. So I would not recommend leading with a Fennec, rather just check the lobby, and if it would be good for the gun, then switch to it. Grau 556, I don't have as much to say about it, but it is no longer the top-notch meta assault rifle that it used to be. However, I still really like it and prefer over, let's say, Type 19 because of how easy it is to use, or the big mag, and the gunsmith that I'm using, it is also quite good in mobility, in ADS time, ADS movement speed terms, and for this reason it is really just a gun that will remain in my loadouts for situations when I simply want more assault rifle range potential and the damage, and I don't want to sweat as much as I would with, let's say, Fennec or HVK. And because of how easy Grau is to just operate with, it is a very nice option in ranked, especially in like random lobbies where you don't know what to expect from the team and from the enemy side team. And I also just prefer the legendary variant over the Mythic. I have both, but the iron sight on this one is better, in my opinion. But if you don't want to use the Grau, you could actually just use other guns, but I still see it in ranked, I still use it in ranked, and my main reasoning as to why is, like I said, easy to use. You can play many hours just grinding ranked and you will not be as tired as you would with while using other weapons. Now, if Grau is a bit more aggressive playstyle wise, for me, at least the gunsmith I'm using, KN44 is more versatile, oriented towards more like range battles. And I started using it since this new legendary variant because I really like the iron sight. It kind of feels like a HVK's cartridge crusher but for KN44. And if you're used either, you know that it is just very clean and makes headshotting and just aiming correctly easier. And for me it completes the gun. And the gun itself I'm using at the moment a versatile build. I made a video with a slower build as well. You can check it out afterwards, but basically good range, good damage, good mobility, 38 rounds, fast reload mag. It is also helpful, it just makes everything faster. And there are, I would say, no issues with the weapon, except that BP50 is still a bit of a concern. Especially if you get in a battle like from a closer range area. But otherwise it is a very nice weapon, and like I said, I'm using it alongside the Grau as a bit of a slower variant with just better damage profile and range. And if I had to choose one, well, if you want only to use one, you should just pick which one fits your playstyle better. But like, they both fit my playstyle. Like I said, I just use them for different situations. And finally, FSJ loadout with the FSJ and blue pack that helps me steal enemy stealth chopper sometimes. It is also complemented with the cold-blooded pack, so the said stealth chopper would not destroy me while I'm taking it down. And I chose PDW with this loadout simply because it has good mobility and big mag, so like I can take down a chopper and then rush into some OBG, do some things, get killed, switch to whatever loadout I was using before. And the gunsmith, it is just a variant of disable at the moment, usually runs late of hand, but I'm testing out, because I see many players use the disable pack. But I have to say that I prefer the PP90 Bizon this season over the PDW. In fact, I don't even have a gameplay to show. And as you can see, my top 3 used weapons are the BP50, Die Rich, and the PP90 Bizon. Now, like I said, BP50 I don't really like using, but if I see that I'm losing with some other weapon and I just don't want to lose the game, I switch to it and try to do my best to achieve a victory, and it often works. But yeah, I much prefer, I would say, even the Grau, the Key, and other choices from the list. Just, I have to use BP50 in the current meta setting. And like, it is what it is, I guess. And so this would conclude my loadouts that I currently have. And for the next season, I'm waiting for the buff to the Groza, to the Switch with X9, to the Odin, which should make them like more viable options, and then I will make some changes, but right now it is what I got. And it is like a little bit different compared to the previous season, but the main options are the same.